You don't need to appeal to everyone. When you're clear on your values, you naturally attract the right clients and partnerships. Hi everyone, I'm Celeste and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something that completely changed how I approach personal branding, especially in Asia, and it might change everything for you too. I was scrolling through YouTube and you often see posts from Western influencers and business coaches shouting about being bold, showing off your awards and credentials, and your success. But as I was watching, I felt very disconnected because this advice, as inspiring as it sounds, often feel uncomfortable for many of us in Asia. And more importantly, it doesn't always translate effectively here. Let me tell you what I see all the time in Singapore. I know many incredibly wealthy people here that look unassuming. We're talking about multimillionaires and business owners with massive companies who live in landed properties and own multiple cars. And if you don't know Singapore, we're amongst the most land-scarce city-states in the world, and about 75% of residents live in high-rise public housing called HDB flats. And that is why landed properties are rare and represent serious wealth. Owning a car is no small feat because cars in Singapore today cost over $150,000. Just the certificate of entitlement alone, which is the paper we need to get before even being able to purchase a car, can easily cost over $100,000. And MPVs or luxury cars can cost as much as a 3 or 4 room HDBs in Singapore. But here's what fascinates me. I've met so many successful, wealthy business owners who show up at office in a simple short sleeve shirt, plain pants, carrying a backpack to work. If you saw them at a regular coffee shop, you might think that they're just another uncle getting their morning coffee. You'll have no idea that they are running multi-million-dollar businesses. So that's the thing about Asia. We don't show off our wealth. We don't broadcast our success. There's a principle of quiet wealth, quiet success. And this extends to how we do business, how we build brands, and how we represent ourselves professionally. So if you've been feeling something's off when you follow Western branding advice, like you're forcing yourself to be someone you're not, this video is for you because I'm going to show you how to build a powerful, authentic personal brand that actually works in the Asian context, one that is rooted in something much deeper than tactics and noise. It's rooted in values. Let's start by acknowledging something really important. That is, don't judge a book by its cover. And it's not just a saying, it's actually how business works here. That unassuming person sitting next to you at the coffee shop, they could be the CEO of a major company. The quiet person in the meeting who doesn't say much, they might be the decision maker with the final say. The person who dresses simply and drives a modest car, they could be the one with the most resources and connections. This is fundamentally different from many Western business cultures where success is often displayed outwardly. The luxury car, the designer suit, the corner office, and the loud confidence. In Asia, real power and success often operates quietly. Asians, generally speaking, are more conservative in how we present ourselves professionally, not politically conservative, but culturally. We tend to be more reserved, more measured, and more thoughtful about how we show up. We're not typically the people who walk into a room and immediately start talking about how great we are. In many Asian cultures, there is this concept of saving face, not just your own, but others too. It's about maintaining harmony, showing respect, and being considerate of others. And this isn't weakness, it's actually a strength, especially when it comes to building lasting business relationships. Because here's what I've learned from over a decade of working with Asian clients and businesses. Values and culture play a massive part in decision making here. When Asian businesses or clients decide who to work with, they're not just evaluating your skills or portfolio. They're assessing who you are as a person. Do you share similar values? Can they trust you? Will you respect the relationship? Or are you someone they can build a long-term partnership with? That's why you see so many business deals in Asia happening over meals or multiple meetings before any contracts are signed. It's not inefficiency, it's intentional. People are assessing cultural fit and value alignment. They're building trust, which is the foundation of everything in Asian business culture. And that's why when you share similar values with people you've met, it becomes so much easier to build strong relationships and partnerships. It's not about networking tactics or elevator pitches. It's about value alignment, creating natural connection. Now, here's where this gets really interesting. There's this word that gets thrown around a lot in marketing. That is authenticity. Everyone's talking about being authentic. But what does that actually mean in the Asian context? In the West, authenticity could mean being very vocal, transparent, and unfiltered, sharing everything, including your struggles and mistakes. But in Asia, authenticity looks different. It's more nuanced in a way. Authenticity in Asia is about alignment. It's about making sure who you say you are matches with who you actually are. It's about consistency between your words and your actions. You do what you say you'll do. You'll deliver on your promises. You show up the very same way in different contexts. That's what builds trust. Being authentic doesn't mean you need to be transparent about every single detail of your personal life or challenges. Because of saving face, oversharing can sometimes make others uncomfortable or harm professional relationships. So, what does this mean practically? It means you can be authentic about your values, your approach, and your philosophy without needing to reveal every private detail. You can be real without being raw. You can be genuine without being unfiltered. And when your actions consistently match your words, you build something no amount of marketing can buy. That is deep, lasting trust. This is the kind of trust where clients come back year after year, refer you to close partners, and choose you even when you're not the cheapest because they trust you to deliver, respect the relationship, and share their values. A few years ago, our team was invited to pitch for a project with the Law Society of Singapore to brand the Singapore lawyer, creating a brand identity that represented what local lawyers stand for. This was a significant assignment to define the identity of an entire profession, and we were the last team to present that day. When we stepped into the room, we faced a council of over 10 lawyers, senior counsels, partners, and leaders in the legal community. You could tell they were exhausted after a full day of presentations, and yet they hadn't found what they were looking for. They didn't have time for our corporate presentation, so they jumped straight in asking us, based on our understanding of the brief, how would you approach crafting the brand of the Singapore lawyer? It got me thinking for a while, and I responded that values would form the foundation of the brand strategy. Not logos or taglines first, but values. Because of how Asian businesses and professional cultures operate, Singapore's legal fraternity already embodies values like quality, credibility, and trust. And these shared values should be the unifying core. One of the senior counsel lawyers immediately said, I think we found our answer. The meeting ended in about 15 minutes because we spoke their language. Not legal language, but values language. That project was deeply meaningful because it validated something I've always believed. When you speak values, you cut through the noise. And more broadly, it shows how Asians think about making decisions. When service providers and clients share aligned values, trust forms naturally. You don't need to convince or push. The alignment is obvious. So what happens when you try to build a brand without clear values? You become forgettable, or worse, inconsistent, confusing people about who you really are. If you're just copying trends, saying yes to everything, and following generic online advice, you're not building a brand. You're just making noise. And Asian audiences, especially, can see this through immediately. I see this often with freelancers and entrepreneurs who tell me that they're doing everything right, but not getting traction with Asian clients. When we dig deeper, the issue is almost always the same. There's no clear value system behind the action. In Asian markets, people buy from people they trust, and trust is built on shared values. If a potential client can't figure out what you stand for, why should they take the risk? When your values are clear, you naturally attract the right people. You build long-term, low-friction relationships with mutual respect. Referrals come naturally because people know exactly who you are and who else would benefit from working with you. That's the power of value-based branding in Asia. All right, so we've established that values matter. Now the big question is, how do you actually identify yours? Many people get stuck because they treat values as abstract ideals or words that they pick to sound good. So I developed a value discovery framework to help you uncover the values that truly guide your brand. Step 1. The deep reflection questions. I'm going to give you a series of questions with simple answers to guide you. Don't overthink your answers, just go with your gut. Your first instinct is usually right. Question 1. Think about a time when you truly felt proud of your work. Not just successful, but genuinely proud. What about that situation made you feel that way? It could be that you were proud that a client told you that working with you felt effortless and clear because you finished the project ahead of schedule with no miscommunication. And what made you proud was the smooth process and the trust that you built with your client. So this shows me that you value harmony and clear communication. So take time with this one. Write down the specific situation and then dig deeper. What value was being honored at that moment? Second question. Think about a time when you felt deeply uncomfortable or frustrated in a work situation. Even if it looked successful from the outside, what bothered you? A situation could be when you worked with a client who kept changing requirements but didn't want to adjust the timeline or budget. You can still deliver. They were happy, but you felt terrible. So what bothered you could be that the lack of respect for the process and the team's effort. And that's where it shows that you deeply value respect and fair partnership. So this situation that bothers you reveal about what you value. Question 3. If you could only work with 3 types of clients or partners for the rest of your career, what characteristics would they have? It could be that a client who appreciates quality craftsmanship and are willing to invest in doing things right. Clients who communicate clearly and respectfully, and clients who are building something they're genuinely proud of and not just chasing quick money. So this shows that you value excellence, respect, and integrity, not the industry or the budget. So what kind of people do you genuinely enjoy working with? Now, take a moment and really answer these questions. Pause the video if you need to and write freely. Don't edit yourself because your answers hold the clues to your authentic values. Step 2, the Asian value alignment. Now that you have got your answers, go through a list of values that you can find on Google or ChatGPT that resonate strongly in Asian business culture. Review them and identify which ones connect with the themes in your answers. Which one makes you think, yes, this is what I want to try to describe. Looking back at your answers to the 3 questions above, which of these values keep appearing? Circle or highlight the ones that show up multiple times in different answers. Those are your core values. You should end up with about 3 to 5 values, not more, because your core values should be focused and not diluted. These are the non-negotiables, the things that guide every decision that you make. Step 3, make your value actionable. Once you have your top 3 values, you need to turn them from abstract concepts into concrete behaviors. For each value, complete this sentence. For the value respect, it could mean that you will always listen fully to your client's needs before proposing solutions, and that you will never dismiss their concerns or talk over them in meetings. Or for the value of integrity, this could mean that you will always admit when you don't know something or make a mistake, and you will never overpromise just to win a project. This is what makes your values real. This is what makes them guide your actual behavior and not just sit on your website as nice words. So write these out, be specific, because these statements become your decision-making filters for everything. What clients you take, what projects you accept, how you communicate, and how you solve problems. So building a personal brand in Asia isn't about being the loudest or the most visible. It's not about showing off success or broadcasting achievements. Remember those wealthy business owners I mentioned earlier? They understand something profound. Real power doesn't need to announce itself. Your personal brand should work the same way. It's about alignment. It's about clear, consistent values demonstrated in everything you do. It's about doing what you say. It's about building trust through value alignment, not volume. The Asian business landscape values trust, long-term relationships, and cultural fit. When you root your brand in values, you tap into something much more powerful than any other marketing tactic, that is real connections. You don't need to appeal to everyone. When you're clear on your values, you naturally attract the right clients and partnerships. The work becomes more fulfilling, the relationship lasts longer, and your business grows sustainably. You can't judge a book by its cover in Asia. People look deeper. They look at your values, your consistency, and your character. Make sure those things are clear and strong. So here's my challenge to you. Walk through my values discovery framework that I shared today. Sit down with those 3 questions and be honest with yourself. Identify your core values and write out what they mean in practice. Then, look at your brand through the lens. Does everything you're doing align with those values? If not, what needs to be changed? And if you want to go deeper on this journey, join the PICS community. It's my Facebook group where we talk about building authentic personal brands that work in the Asian context, connecting with values-aligned clients, and growing businesses that feel right, not just successful. The link is in the description below. Before you go, I want to hear from you. What's one value that's non-negotiable for you in your work? What's something you'd never compromise on, even for a big opportunity? Share it in the comments below. Let's build a community of value-driven entrepreneurs right here. If this resonated with you, please hit subscribe. I share content every week about building authentic brands and businesses in Asia, and I'd love to have you here. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, in Asia, the most powerful brands aren't the loudest, they're the ones built on strong values. Let that guide your brand and watch how the right people start finding you.